Okay, another quick practice video where we're looking at the linear equation. In this case, we're going to look at these lines and where they intersect the x-axis. If you remember, B is the y-intercept, right? And we can determine that B is the y-intercept because if we plug in x equals 0, which is where the y-axis is, then we get the y equals B. So in this case, I'm not interested in where the line intersects the y-axis, which would be B. In this case, I want to know when it intersects the x-axis. So click pause, try to solve these four equations intersect points, and then I'll walk through these each of these problems. Okay, so real quick, all we need to do is set y equals 0 and solve for x. So for this first case, if y equals 0, then we get 0 goes 4x plus 2. If you solve for x, what do we get? We get negative 1/2. Hopefully you got that. Continuing this process, same way, we get y equals 0 equals x plus 2. We solve for x, this is just negative 2. This one's an interesting one. Remember, the slope is equal to 0. That means we have a horizontal line at y equals 3. And if I try to solve for y equals 0, then I get 0 equals 2. Obviously, that's not true, so this is not possible. What does that mean? This means that the line never intersects the x-axis. And we'll show the graph and we'll see that that's true. And then finally, we have y equals x plus 6. So if I set y equals 0, we get 0 goes x plus 6. Solve for x. X is negative 6. All right, let's verify this on the graph. Here's our graph. Here's our four lines. Let's take a look. Equation 1, we have y equals 4x plus 2. That's this red line right here. So each of these grid points, these tick marks represent a unit, right? So this is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So looking at this graph, it intersects the x-axis somewhere between the first tick mark to the left of this y-axis, so that'd be -1. So somewhere between -1 and 0, and we solved it should be -1/2, which is great. All right, so equation 2, x plus 2, that's this blue line here, and we see that it intersects it at the second tick mark to the left of the y-axis, which is -2, and that's what we solve, x equals -2. Y equals 3 is this green horizontal line, right? And obviously, since this is parallel to the x-axis, it will never intersect the x-axis. And then finally, was this purple line here? It looks like it intersects at -6, and that's what we solve for, right? So really easy. If I want to solve for the intersect of the x-axis, I plug in y equals 0, solve for x. If I want to solve for the y-intercept, I either solve for b, or if it's in a different form, I just plug in x equals 0 and then solve for y. Okay, we'll do a couple more practice problems in a similar fashion and get you to drill these quickly.